guys, welcome back. It's Shelby, and today I want to go over just kind of something that I like to do when there is a special event and I get like flowers or sometimes like just like a rose or something, or if it's a beautiful day and you pick one from the garden, it's just how to dry flowers. Previously I had done a video on how to press flowers, like drying flowers in a book. I'll link it above if you're interested in seeing that. But something that I do is if I get a bouquet of flowers or roses or just a single rose and I want to keep it, I will dry it. And I think sometimes people think that like drying flowers is difficult or requires special equipment because you can get like the dehydrators and just all this fancy stuff, and you really don't even need equipment depending on the type of flower. But even with roses, like you really don't need any equipment at all. It's super easy to do. And it's just kind of like the technique of how you do it. So for roses, you kind of want to do it one at a time, whereas if you have like a bunch of lavender, you can just dry out the whole bunch at once. So it just depends on the type of flower. But I went to an event and I got to take home a rose and I loved it, so I want to keep it to remember it. I have a few bits of dried flowers around my house. Most of them are from special occasions that I just want the memory of. But there's a particular way to dry flowers, which is basically just upside down, and that way they don't do this. You know, you can get the look of the flower with the straight stem, so that's what we're going for. So basically I have this flower. I'm filming this video in the future, I guess? Yes, because I've already dried the flower. But I'm doing my intro now, and then I'm gonna put in the footage of drying the flower, and then I'll show you what it looks like in like 2 minutes, but like a week later from when the video takes place. So yeah, that's how it's gonna happen. But yeah, basically you don't need any special equipment. You just kind of separate your flower out. And the best part about this is when you get the flowers, you don't have to start right away. Like you can put them in a vase with water and enjoy them for, you know, a week or so until they start getting like wilty and droopy. And then when you take them out, like maybe a day or two before you would have to throw them away and they get all brown and gross and wilty, that's when you dry them. And so you get the best of both worlds. You get them in the vase and just beautiful on the table, and then you also get a dried keepsake of the flowers. So yeah, I will link my socials down below if you want to hit me up on Instagram and Snapchat. Give the video a thumbs up if you like it, and yeah, I'm just gonna put in the footage here of, you know, drying the flower, and then I will meet you in 30 seconds with the actual results. Check out this sad little baby, just starting to wilt. You can see the leaves are starting to dry out. The petals are starting to wilt a little bit, but it's still got really great color, a little bit of shape left to it. It's not like completely wilting, so this is perfect. It's just past the point where it's beautiful and fresh and you want it in a vase on your table, but not quite completely dead yet. So this is kind of the perfect stage. So now we're just gonna take it out of the vase and kind of de-spikify it, take off the thorns, take off the leaves. We'll dump out the water, but not when the rose is in there. So the leaves should gently break off. I'm gonna try and do this one-handed. All my leaves and thorns are in sync. This is what my rose looks like. Just kind of cut off all of the thorns with a knife. You can see that the stem's in really good shape. It's still really green and vital. It's just kind of wilting up by the flower. So this is perfect. Okay, so you have your rose out, and just take one of these clips with the magnet on the back, and then just clip the bottom of the stem until you can pick up the rose in the clip, and we're going to hang it on the fridge. Just like that. And just leave it like that. You can see this is straight. That's what I want. And then my dried rose will have a nice straight stem, not be wilted over. This is day 2. You can see the petals are still really soft. The stem kind of looks like it's drying out a little bit, especially up here. You can see it's still green, but can see the spots where the thorns were drying out and it's looking a little bit more puckered. But the petals still have plenty of moisture. They're still really soft and supple, so. Alright, here we go. Day 3. You can see the petals are really starting to wilt. You can hear them. They're definitely getting drier. Up top, you can feel less moisture in them, so this moves pretty quickly, this whole process. The stem, you can see, definitely kind of shriveled up. The parts where the thorns were taken off are super brown. So yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at for day 3. It's almost there, but the color is still remaining. It's still really beautiful. Kind of looks like it was browning yesterday, but the color's remaining the same, so this is great. Okay, so it's day 4 and you can actually finally start to see some real change. The stem is getting darker until you get down to just before the flower, then it turns green, so the moisture is almost completely out of it. The flower itself, the petals, are a lot more shriveled up. It's a lot smaller, it's just taking up a lot less room. You can hear there's a difference in the petals. They're no longer silent. They are a little bit more fragile. You can bump them out of place. You could probably also rip them off really easily, so you got to be careful at this stage because it's basically dry. This is essentially what it's going to look like. We're just going to leave it hanging for a few more days so that all the moisture comes out of it so that you don't have any problem with mold or anything. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is day 5. Kind of shriveled looking, definitely drying out. You can see the green only goes to about there on the stem. Super crunchy, but getting there. And we're back. Here's how the flower turned out. You can see the stem is brown and kind of shriveled, very dried, but it's also like I can hold it at one end. It's completely dry. You can tell there's no moisture because the weight isn't pulling it down. The edge is still green. The cool part about this is it does keep a lot of the colors. The flower petals are very crispy. They're dried out, but you can see they retain the beautiful color. Because I hung it upside down, the stem is straight. It also helped suck the moisture out this way. It kind of prevents, you know, like A, warping of the stem, and B, color loss. So you can see the flowers that dried out first are a little bit lighter and a little bit more gray, but the actual petals themselves, they retain their pink color. It kind of still smells like a rose, not like a fresh rose, but like, kind of like, I don't know, like, kind of like that dried flower rose musty smell a little bit, like a little bit rose, but not really. But you can see the, I don't know what these are called, but completely dried out and in, ooh, I broke that one, but in like this really cool shape. So yeah, it looks cool. And you can, you know, put this on your wall, you can put it in a shadow box, you can actually put it in a vase. One thing that I saw back in high school, I went to a friend's house and her older sister had just bouquets of flowers everywhere and they were in vases. And it was really cool. And then you got closer and I realized that they were all dried flowers. So they were all flowers from an event. Anytime something happened, she would take like one flower or a couple flowers and just put them in a vase. And she built these beautiful bouquets in her room. And they were all flowers from special memories in her life. So I thought that was pretty cool. That was something that kind of stuck with me through the years. And now I kind of do it a little bit myself too. I don't build like the bouquets. But I've got a couple of roses up in my room from nice events. This one will be joining them, and they're all different sizes and colors, and some of them are like the mini roses. But this technique basically works for everything. As you saw, it doesn't take any equipment at all. Like I literally stuck it in a refrigerator magnet and hung it on my fridge. You could tie a piece of string to the bottom of it and just like tape it to a wall. Like it really doesn't matter. Just basically like have your flower upside down in a dry, non-humid environment, out of direct sunlight, for a week. Basically, that's all it takes, and you get this really cool flower. So anyway, I hope if you are looking for an easy way to dry flowers without equipment that this video was helpful. If it was, give the video a thumbs up, consider subscribing. I'd love to know your thoughts about this down in the comments. Go ahead and let me know there, that'd be great. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.